Number one thing that made me wonder, like, what the fuck is going on when I met you, right? Is accents.
Like Australians say like letter. Singaporeans letter. All of my Singaporean friends just hype up like, oh my god, McSpicy. You have to try McSpicy in Singapore. McSpicy, blah blah blah. It's so nice. So I was just like, it's just a chicken burger. It's a spicy chicken burger. It's nothing big. I don't know what you guys are talking about. There was this guy who's just like, take that off. Like, you fucking hijabi. Go back to where you come from and everything. I'm just like, huh? Hello? What happened?
What is up, guys? My name is Hammy and welcome to the Hey Hammy podcast. On today's episode, I have my dearest friend, Zara. One of my first, should I say first? Yeah, you are my first Singaporean friend in Melbourne. But can I consider you a Singaporean? You have a very, very interesting story. I never thought Singaporeans would be like this in Melbourne. And we're going to share with you guys a little bit of like how she grew up over here, like the experiences that she has as a Malay Singaporean growing up in Australia, also being Muslim. A lot of like the weird experiences that you can share with me, or like any crazy experiences. Or if people think that Australians are racist, then I think you would be a prime example to answer that question, right? I feel like you came. Okay, let's start the conversation. When did you come here to Australia?
Okay, I came here 2011.
2011. Okay.
So that's like, I don't know.
More than 10 years.
13 years ago?
Yeah, about 13
Yeah,
years ago.
13 years ago. Peak racism time, guys. I'm not even kidding. Peak racism time.
What's a story that you can remember?
Okay. I remember because I always like grew up in like suburb areas, okay? And it wasn't like, I wouldn't say like it's a white, like there's a lot of like Australians that live there. It's very like diverse, multicultural type like suburb when I first moved here. But then like I remember going to like the city for the first time, and then I saw like there's a lot of like different types of people that I've never seen before in like all my years in like Melbourne. And then I remember I was just walking around, you know, just a little girl in a hijab with my friends and all that. And then there was this guy who's just like, take that off, like, you fucking hijabi, go back to where you come from and everything. I'm just like, huh? Hello? What happened? And then like I didn't know what to do because it was like the first time that happened to me. So, and then like all my friends, I wasn't scared. I was more like surprised and like shocked. Then all my friends were like, I think because they lived in Melbourne more like longer than me, so they were like used to all these like racist remarks and all these comments about all like Muslims and all that. And then they helped me. So they're like, oh, go fuck you and everything. And I'm just like,
just fight back.
Thanks, guys. I didn't know what to say. Like I was just like, huh? What happened? Did they say that to me? Because like, you know, obviously like Singapore is like, there's a lot of like, you see Malay people, oh, Muslim. You see hijabi, oh, okay. Chill. Like. But then over here, there's more like Australians, all people like different religions and everything. So it's just like, it wasn't that much of a difference, but it's more like the racist thing was more real here. So yeah.
It's a lot more prominent. I think they're more outspoken. I tell this to a lot of people, like in places where you get quote unquote nicer people, you know, like especially in service, right, in retail, where like you can say, oh, thank you, have a good day. You do that in Singapore. I did that in Singapore, right? The auntie looked at me like, what the fuck? Like, what do you say thank you? Like, good day, hello, you know? But you'll also get the other extreme.
Yeah.
Like people are a lot more outspoken. They'll like say shit like that to you. Wait, how old were you at this time?
I was like 14.
14. How are you not scared, bro? It was just normal in the culture, yeah.
It was okay, yeah. No, it was normal given that it was from like, I would say an Australian that grew up here, you know. I like the first day of like high school, I got my first like racist comment. Cause like you know, like in Mean Girls where they were like, if you're from Africa, why are you white? I got the first comment where I introduced myself. It was like in perfect English. I obviously have my Singaporean accent, and I'm just like, "Hi, my name is da da da. I'm originally from here." And then one of my schoolmates was just like, "If you're not from here, how come your English is so good? How come your grammar is so good?" And I was just like, Singapore's first language is English. And then she was just like, oh, I didn't know Asia has an English spoken country. I was just like, huh? Okay, good for you.
It's the kind of thing where like you would naturally think, I think, if we are in the era of internet, right?
Yeah.
As much as you can understand that like you are not the only country that speaks English, I think for some reason when you actually see like an Asian person and then you're like, they can speak English that well, it's just different. Like we just had this conversation earlier, right? You can learn so much about the world, but I think when you're actually there, it's a very different experience.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So speaking of that, the number one thing that surprised me or like made me wonder like what the fuck is going on when I met you, right? Is accents.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am guilty of it now, but back then it was like, what the fuck is going on? Because for your reference, guys, like when I first met her, right? Because I'm Singaporean and she's Singaporean, she spoke to me normally, like how Singaporeans talk. Like we were like, "Hey, macam," like it was quite normal, okay? And then suddenly I heard, I think you were talking to like when you're buying coffee or something, and then you just went up, "Can I have one cappuccino or like one latte?" And I'm like, "What the fuck is going on? Like where is this coming from?" So let's talk a little bit about that accent thing because I think now that I'm here after like 2 years, right, I found that everyone does that. Yeah, not just Malay people. It's I think anyone who's non-Australian and then they come here and they start learning the accents, like that's a normal thing. Like, talk to me about how you transition to understand this like difference in the way you speak to different people.
Okay, for me, personally, it took me like 4 years to like get used to, you know how like Singaporeans have like a very great emphasis on T, like the letter T. So it's not like Australians say like letter. Singaporeans letter. So so it was just really hard.
I feel like I'm so used to that, hearing that, but when I hear you saying it, it's funny.
So it was just like so hard for me, like in year 10 or like sec 4. Then I was just like, I was like practicing by myself, like letter. Like it was just like I cannot emphasize on the R, I cannot emphasize on the T and everything. And then obviously all my friends were like Arabs and like Pakistanis and everything, and they were like grew up here, so they have Australian accents. So I was just like copying what they say and everything. And then like if you meet one of my high school friends now, they would still say I still have my Singaporean accent, even when I'm like speaking Australian to you. They say like, oh, you still have your Singaporean accent. Like, no, you don't have an Australian. But if I talk to you as a Singaporean, you would say I have an Australian accent. So, but yeah, I'm one of the lucky ones, I would say, that I can turn it on and off. But I think it's more harder for me to turn on my Australian accent if I'm with a Singaporean.
Yeah, definitely. Because like it feels dumb, right? If you're with a Singaporean and you turn it on, it's like, why are you doing it? Yeah. When I went back home, like my uncle said the same thing, like, oh, you can speak Australian. I'm like, hey, try speak to me in Australian. I'm like, why would I ever do that with you?
Literally, yeah. Because it's like, can you speak to me in Australian? Like my recent trip, and all my friends were like, talk to me in Australian. I'm just like, I cannot lah. Like you want me to, I'm in the home country. You want me to speak in Australian? You've come to Melbourne and you talk to me over there.
Yeah.
Then I turn it on for you. Then it's just like, it's hard.
I guess for your situation, it was more like because you came here at a pretty young age, it was more like just being socially accepted and like just following the culture. Yeah. It's the same, right? I think as humans, even when I grew up in Singapore, the way I spoke and the way I speak now is extremely different. There was a lot more like, I feel like there's a lot of Cantonese. Like I haven't heard this word in so long, but I remember I used to use it a lot. Like walao eh, like bro, it sounds fucking cringy when I do it now, but like that was the way I spoke last time. But I think the other side of it is also, for me personally, I think you also would agree to this, is when I learned like the accent, especially working in retail, I think naturally I just learned the accent just because people talk to me like that. I found that a lot of locals treat me better that way.
With the accent?
Yeah, with the accent. Because like when I speak like in my Singaporean accent, sometimes they don't fully understand what I'm saying. I think it's just the way we say stuff. But also, I think when you hear someone speaking in your own accent or language, naturally you're just inclined to like be friends with them.
Yeah.
So even with like, let's say if we spoke in Malay, right? There's also like how you speak the Malay.
Yeah.
There's like formal Malay, kind Malay, just friends Malay.
Yeah.
There's something about that. So I found that like when I spoke in a little bit more of an Australian accent, people were just nicer to me.
Yeah.
I think you probably felt that.
I feel, yeah, cause like for example, like my dad, he doesn't have an Australian accent, but he has like an aggressive Singaporean accent. Cause you know how aggressive Singaporeans can get when they talk to someone. So it was just, he sounds very like angry and everything. So everyone, I would say Australians take him more seriously because he can't really pull off like, oh, how you going? How you doing today? How you going, mate? And everything. He can't even say mate till now. He's just like mate, like MAID instead of MATE.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. It depends, I guess.
Yeah, it's very situational. I guess my next question would be, what was like the main cultural differences other than accents, right? What was the main cultural differences that you grew up now that you're in Melbourne compared to how you were in Singapore? Was there any?
I would say it's more like you would think if you come to Australia, there's more. There's a lot of like Australians, like white Australians, but like coming here, like it really shocked me because that's like a lot more diverse than what I would think a white country would look like, you know? And I think it made me like learn everyone's culture, like differences and everything, like religion aside. It's like the way everyone, like what they eat, how they eat, or like the way they treat people is like so different compared to like when I grew up in Singapore. So it's very interesting to see different people.
For me, I feel like the main cultural differences we faced was just how people talk to each other, especially in, I don't know, I will say it again and again, just in retail, just how kind they actually are is so weird.
Yeah.
I don't know if you went back to Singapore recently, right? Do you
Yeah.
go to like any retail stores and then you see how the difference?
Oh my
you
God.
realize-
Okay.
Yeah.
So you know how like obviously I was like the biggest shock that I told you last time was like the minimum wage. So they get paid really like little there and everything. So I was just like, why is like the way I was treated there in like retails or like restaurants, all the workers were very like angsty. They were like so angry, they were so done with work. And I was just like, maybe it's like the wage thing. Maybe they get paid so little and everything. But then it's like understandable because everything there is so cheap. So you are paid what you're given, you know, like everything, it's like a balance kind of thing. Like we get paid more here, given the prices here are very like a little bit more like pricey. But like, I don't know, they're so like, this one okay lah. And then I'm just like, auntie, do you have like butter or something? It's like, huh? Butter? You want butter? It's over there. And then just like, this one? Okay, $5. Is you want nets cash or whatever? I was just like, Visa cannot. No, Visa cannot. Cash only. ATM outside, go pay. I was just like,
ATM outside.
Okay, I come back. Can you wait? Can you put this aside? I'm like, and then they're like, no, I put back first. You come back, you take again, and then you will pay. I'm like, oh, okay, then it's fine, whatever.
Yeah, I think you brought up a good point. Like, it's more than just cultural. I think the wage.
Yeah.
I think the weather I think plays a huge role.
Yeah.
Like now that I realized, like back in Singapore when it's a sunny day, right, or like any other day, I've never said beautiful day. But the first time I ever said that was here in Melbourne, where it's like sunny and then like it's windy. It's like, wow, it is a beautiful day. But if you put wage, how much are we getting in Singapore right now? At that time you sent me a photo, like
It was like
10,
11 to 18.
11 to 18. That's
Yeah.
a huge gap still.
Yeah.
Okay, like 11 to 18, 100% they're going to give you like 12, bro. I don't think 18 is probably like never going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably 11 to 18. The last time I worked, 10 was the highest.
Oh.
10 was the highest. That was just 2 years ago. So we'll see how that goes in future. But if you're getting wage like that and then the heat and then people are just like forever in that angst, like not comfortable.
Yeah.
Is that the word? Yeah, I think that's the word. Because with minimum wage, you're looking more towards like the things that you can, recreational activities after that. what can you do? Like you can still support yourself, but now you're more worried like what other stuff can I do for fun?
Yeah.
But in Singapore, like with part-time work, you're like, what am I gonna do with this? I can only buy food. I can only afford so much, and it's understandable, but it is like a cultural differences that I will never forget, and I don't want Singapore to change because I love it. Like I love the angst. There's a vibe to it. Okay, there's a vibe.
Okay,
It's like
yeah.
going to a street market and then imagine going to a street like food stall and then everyone was nice. I don't know. It's just weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because
That's
I
just
remember
the charm of Singapore.
I remember like I was talking to my other like Singaporean friend. And I was just like, oh, I miss like the aunties and uncles just gossiping at the kopitiam and everything. They're just like yelling at each other. Like I want to go like to this kopitiam just to hear them gossip. I will buy their 150 kopi o just to hear them gossip and everything. But over here, just like, hey, how you going? Oh, is that all for today? A latte with 2 sugars, and then everyone's just like in their own world. Like, it's understandable how like everyone likes the way it is. So, I guess
It works. I think it works both ways. Like, no matter how if it's too good, after a while you'll want the bad. If it's too bad, you'll want the good. Like it will never be a just one-sided thing.
Yeah.
I love being treated nicely here, but sometimes it's like, are you okay? Like they're just too nice to me. Like I can see some of my friends like in retail like really treat every customer like, hey, how you doing? Have a good day. Like, bro, like chill. It's fine. Like, you don't have to tell everyone like it's really their amazing day. You know?
Yeah.
Okay. Culturally, we have talked about like being our races and the different races. I think we'll go slightly deeper. Just tell me if you're not comfortable.
Okay.
But what's like any stories with like you being a Muslim here and like how tough it was during racism? Was it more racist here compared to how Singapore is? I feel like Singapore right now is we're so used to having like Muslims, so it's not a big deal. And obviously with the 9/11 situation, it made it worse for everyone culturally. And I think you came at Australia to like, I would say the worst time of like the peak where like racism was happening. Yeah. So how do you feel like? Because I feel like for guys, we don't have like a identity to represent that we're Islam sometimes.
Yeah.
But you have like the hijab, so that's like a very different situation.
I don't know. I would say because like in Singapore, everywhere you see, like you turn right and left, everywhere you see people wearing the hijabs and everything. So it's like normal there. But like over here, it's like I would be the only one out of like 100 people here that's the only visibly Muslim person. And then it was just like, even like compared to like 2011 till now, I would still get like stares when I get into a train or like when I'm walking down the street alone and everything. And then I don't know, it's more like they're not used to, like back then they're not used to seeing like a hijabi just walking around, especially like me walking alone compared to like me walking with my family. And then I have my mom and my like 2 little sisters like all wearing hijab. And then I would see like people just like staring at my little sisters because they're not even like 10 yet. They were like 4 or 5 and they already started wearing it because like they wanted to wear it because they're like, oh, my older sister and my mom is wearing it. But then you see like little comments from like Australians be like, why are they forcing these 2 little girls like wearing it and everything? But it was just like they want to wear it because they're used to it. You know, they're used to seeing like their sister and their mom wear it. Then,
it's like that argument you see online. Why are you forcing your kids to wear hijab? Why were they suppressing their women? And then the Muslim woman was like, why are you forcing your girls to wear bikinis? Why can they do OnlyFans? Like that's worse for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just very cultural, right?
Yeah. And plus like I wouldn't say like, okay, like we, like you see in like Singapore, it's like Malays are Muslims. Yeah. And then I'm so used to like, in my head, it's just like, oh, when you see a Malay, definitely a Muslim and everything. But like coming here, it was just like, I see all these people, like I know there's like, it's all over the world. Everyone's a Muslim, but it's like my first time experience it in real life. I see like people from Africa, people from like Europe and everything, they look white, but they wear a hijab, and I was just like so shocked. Or the like people from Bangladesh and everything. I was just like, oh, okay. And then like obviously the way they like was brought up is so much different than us. And then every day coming home from school, I would ask my dad like, why do they do this differently than what we were taught? And then that's when like I learned more about like Islam and like culture differences. Like I can tell like people are brought up like culturally or like religiously. No, yeah. So it's like a big difference.
I think we can expand on that. Like I just said, growing up in Singapore, I think as a Muslim, Malay Muslim, you would think that's how Muslims work.
Yeah.
Which is funny because like our origins are Arabic, right? And then coming here when I think about Eid, right? People say Eid. Eid is the right way to say it in a sense. But when I heard people say Eid, I'm like, why aren't they saying Hari Raya? You know what I mean? Like it was so weird. And then like when Eid came along, and then like naturally in my head, like, okay, where's my baju kurung? Where's my like my colorful outfit?
Yeah.
And even like Singaporeans, even my Chinese friends are like, oh, are you gonna wear your baju kurung? You know what I mean? And then when you come here, you're like, you see other Muslims like from Arab, Turkey, Lebanon, and then you're like, oh, they don't do that. Like, it's not a thing. They have their own like cultural things, and like even the food. I feel like in Singapore, like we have like rendang. It's like that's like a must meal while you are in Hari Raya, right? But you start to realize like, wait, that's not religious. That's just Malay being Malay.
Yeah, like a culture thing and everything. And then it's just like, you know how like we have all the kuih and everything. A lot
Even
of other
that is
people,
not,
they don't even have that. I'm just like, where's your kuih tat?
Yeah.
No, we have the kuih makmur, but it's Arab version, you know, and everything. It's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, just to let you, I guess you guys know, it was supposed to be 20 degrees today, but for some reason it's like, it feels like 30 degrees. So we're just going to turn on the AC. So if you hear the engine rumbling, that's just the car, okay? Because I think when you associate what you do during a religious holiday, and then you do all these cultural things, you start to like think that's religious, and then you realize that some of it is not.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember going to like what do we call it, like Salat Haraya, like Hari Raya prayers, Eid prayers.
Eid prayers.
See, like the fact that I'm still thinking it in like the Malay point of view, right? It's so funny. But there was a mosque for the Malay people and then Lebanese, and like it's all around the same area, and like to see how we do it differently is, I like the differences.
Yeah.
I find it very interesting, but I think sometimes if I was just purely from Singapore, I would have found that weird. And like I would have sort of judged them for it. Yeah, but you start to realize like the origins of a religion is so far, not that old in like historic terms, but like from culture, it's like from Arab and 1,000 years ago. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of different variations within that religion, right? So as long as they have the same beliefs and like they're all good people, in my opinion, like just do what you want.
Yeah,
there's only so much we can control, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, aside from the deep topics, let's go to how I met you actually, right? You were actually the president of Singapore Student Association in RMIT. Why are you owing so much? I feel like you're still a president, for some reason.
Really?
I feel like you're my president. You're my Halimah Yacob, bro.
Oh my god, stop. No.
Put Halimah's face.
No.
It's the same vibes.
Why?
I don't know, the way you guys walk is just
Oh my god, stop.
You have the same vibe as Halimah Yacob. But yeah, actually I didn't know how did you become the president? Like why did you decide to become the president for Singapore Student Association in RMIT? I think a lot of, since my audience that I'm planning to be doing this podcast for is going to be international students, and some of them are probably going to go RMIT. So
join my club, guys.
See, you still say join my club. You know what I mean?
Okay. No, I don't know. Okay. Honestly, the only reason I wanted to join the club, like before becoming like an executive member, was like I was an introvert my whole life, and then I just like, I don't have any friends. I have friends, but from high school, but we don't go to the same uni,
Yeah.
So I was just like, fuck it, I have to make friends. So I was doing like things like 5 years ago, I was doing things that I was so uncomfortable. Like I hate, like I have to small talk with this guy. I have to get to know him and everything. Like I hate that. But it was just like looking back at it now, I'm so glad that I did things that I hated because of how it turned out, how my life turned out now and everything. And then I was given the opportunity to like lead a whole club.
Okay. Let's do like a story arc of like after you graduated high school and then now you joined uni, and then ignore like the study parts or like the friends part, but then like just the SSA timeline of it.
SSA timeline. It was funny.
So
though.
you joined uni and then you joined SSA and then what happened?
I joined uni. And then I was like sussing out the whole RMIT account for like all the clubs.
Yeah.
Then I was just like, there's a Singapore club. I was so shocked. I was just like, I have to join. I went to like the club's day, and then I joined it. It was just like, it was so expensive back then too. It was just like, I had to pay like $20 to join for like a full year.
Oh, okay.
And then I joined it. There's like we have the welcome night thing, like free food and everything. We joined, and then after that, 2 weeks later, we met up again. So we all met up, all the people that wants to like be friends. Like I don't know anyone. I went to like the welcome night. I met one person who was lost, so I became friends with her. And then after like that 2 weeks, we met again and everything. Lockdown. It was literally lockdown. And all the friends that I made during like the welcome night all went back for good. I'm like, you know what? COVID, there's no point of doing uni in Melbourne and everything.
International students, Singaporeans.
Yeah,
okay.
It was mostly international students. So everyone went back. And then the ones that stayed here was only like 4 or 5 people. And they were obviously like, back then COVID, when it first started, like you can't go more than 5 kilometers, or like you can't do this, you can't do that. So it was just like hard keeping up with everything. And like SSA died. And then we slowly like, once it slowly like opens up again, like all the remaining SSAs got back together like, hey, like you're still here. And then we got like in touch again. And then they're like, okay, let's build it up again. And then, when I first became like the executive member, I was a secretary. And that was still dead. There was no one. There was only like, I would say 10 members.
Oh, shit.
And it was all like based in Melbourne. There was no international. They haven't opened the borders yet. Only 10. But then like the next year, my friend was just like, oh, I want to focus on studies. Why don't you become president? I was just like, I was more hesitant because I was just like, I want to focus on my study too, you know, like this is just a club, social club, nothing to do. And then he was just like, yeah, there's nothing to do. Why not just be a president? And you can do anything you want. You be the boss of it. I'm just like, well, okay then. I'll just go for it. I'll see how life goes, you know, with me being president. But then the borders open up. SIM people, exchange students coming in and everything. So it's just like, it was just like, I have to start doing like actually doing work. Shit. I was just like, okay. Then it was like, then the fun part for me was fun. Part coming in, like having to find people to sponsor us, be partners with, making like SSA fun again. Then it was just, I really like being the president. I'm not gonna lie, you guys. It was so fun.
Taking control. You're a leader.
I like being the leader because like, obviously like I don't, like it's like taking charge, but I don't have the final say. The way, like for me personally, the way I become like be as a president is like taking everyone's opinions.
Yeah.
Okay, and then for example, like back then when I had like 4 other executive members, and then 2 of them would say they want this one, and then to another one say this one, and then I have to like be the middleman and balance it out so that everyone, at the end of the day, everyone is happy, everyone gets what they want and everything. Because like it's not my decision to like make an event or like do this, do that for SSA. Because like I feel like being the president is more like being the middleman, making everyone happy and like focusing on what the members want. Yeah. Which I like.
Yeah.
Because like...
So you sort of know what it's like to run a country, yeah?
Eh?
Democracy. That's democracy. Yeah.
I like it. So, I don't know. Next year, Was it next year? No, yeah, next year I'll be the president again.
Again, okay.
Good luck to me.
So when I first joined, wait, what was it? Last year? Yeah, last year. That just like recently got back up again.
Yeah.
Oh.
So like, honestly, when I became the president, that was the first year with all like
the international students.
Yeah,
and
with
everything.
international students. So like from like 8 to 10 members, just post COVID. And then when I became president, it was up to like 40, 50. And then like this year, it was up to like 100. So I don't know, next year there's going to be hopefully more.
I have to give you credit for that because I think a lot of people see a club as like something, if it doesn't work out, then it sucks. You know what I mean? But I think having a club for like that, especially for Australians, we have a lot of international students, right? I think the fact that you guys still ran the club after COVID and like have now like 100 people joining in is very important for international students. Even next year when they start coming in again, right?
Yeah.
It's at least they have like a base ground to be like, okay, these people have went through what I'm about to go through. So at least start from there. Even if you don't have like, even if you don't make good friends or whatever, like at least have that as like a starting ground. Because I think that was me. Like I'm coming from Swinburne, right? We met through mutual friends, but I think without the club, I wouldn't have found the friends that I have today.
Yeah.
Because there's no like Singapore club in Swinburne. There's no like club that I can follow, and I'm like all alone in the east side. As much as I love making like local friends, at the end of the day, I think we all need like people we grew up with.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like if I didn't find the SSA, right, it would have been pretty bad in my opinion. Yeah.
I think so, because I feel like we were saying before, like we feel more comfortable with people like talking with our own accents. You know, we feel more comfortable and like how I always say like, SSA is all about making a home for people being away from home. You know, I don't know. I'm just glad you found friends. I guess.
Yeah. So I think anyone coming in to Australia, like, just join SSA. Like if you're from Singapore. Like I said, you don't have to if you don't make any friends, fine, but at least just try. You know, try and see. And I think most of the events, for the most part, like, just socialize for a little bit. Like, eat the common foods, or at least find out, like, what you guys do. Yeah.
Just join our club. We have a bunch of nasi lemak.
yeah. Even, like, nasi lemak, or, like, asking people where to eat. I think it's a lot of information that you can get within a club. And yeah, just keep doing what you do. Hopefully you guys have like a decent president next after you again, and then we'll see how that goes. That's almost about it I have about you. But you have anything else that you want to share with the world, or to any international students that's about to come? Any advice for them? Which is funny because I feel like when I'm talking to you, sometimes you're an international student, but I forget that you're local.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of people asking me a bunch of like visa shit and everything. I was just like, you read this website. I think I'm the wrong person, but if you want any help, I'll just push you to someone else. But I'll be here for you if you want the Australian culture.
Yeah, the culture side of things. Yeah. I think if you join any clubs, expect more like culture, social help. But like legality kind of help, like visa and stuff. I don't know. Some people ask me that on my YouTube channel as well for some reason. And I'm like, dude, I don't know which country you're coming from. I don't know how your visa works. Like, don't ask me that kind of questions. But maybe we'll talk about food a little bit. Like, any recommendations for food? Recently, I found out like in Springvale on the east side of Melbourne, there's a lot of good Malay food. It's all from Malaysia. It's like right in the heart of like Springvale. Just search Malay food Springvale, like it's all there.
I never go there. Springvale
because
is
you
so
are on the
far
north
from me.
Yeah, northwest side, I guess. Yeah. So
I think I'm more used to like Arab food or like Asian, like Korean, Japanese, Chinese food and everything. So like for me, like, you know, like my recent trip back in Singapore, like everyone's like, oh, you definitely want to try Singapore food. You confirm want Malay food lah and everything. I was just like, not really. I'm okay with anything. She's like, no. You should try A&W. You should try Jollibee. No. Go try the Mac Spicy in Singapore. And Australia is different. I was just like, okay. And then like they got so shocked like for the food that I want, because I want the simplest thing. Because the only thing in my mind that I wanted to eat back in Singapore was putu piring.
Oh yeah.
I wanted putu
That's
piring
so specific.
and the
It's
goreng
the-
pisang.
It's the white color. How do I explain this?
It's like a cake.
Yeah,
flat
it's like a cake thing,
pancake,
and
kind
then
of thing.
pancake kind of thing. It's white, and then inside there's like gula melaka, which is Malacca sugar.
Palm sugar.
Yeah, palm sugar, and then there's coconut sprinkles around it as well.
Yeah.
and it's warm, so it's like I don't think you can find it anywhere else other than like Singapore and Malaysia.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wanted like putu piring, and goreng pisang also.
Mm,
Cause like we have it here. Yeah, it's nice and all that. But
fried
like,
bananas.
yeah, but it's like they sprinkle it with like cheese and chocolate. Now I was just like, what the fuck is that? Like, I want the simplest thing with like the just like that, just the banana part thing, and it was only those two that I wanted.
Fair enough. Very
Yeah.
Malay food, and it's just the authenticity that they have is just not within Melbourne. And fair enough. I know a lot of people always say like, oh, there must be Malay food here in Melbourne, or there must be like Singaporean food. But you have to remember, like, if you want Malay food or you want this kind of food, then you also have to like at least be thankful when there's people there, because
Yeah.
they are the same people like you. They want Malay food, and they just decided like, you know what, I'll just make my own restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the fact that they're there, I'm more than happy. Like, it doesn't have to be the best, but as long as it's there, I'm happy. But you did mention McSpicy, right? We have to talk. Let's end it off with the McSpicy talk, right?
Okay.
Right, McSpicy Australia versus McSpicy Singapore, bro.
Oh
This
my
is not
God.
a competition. This is not a competition, but I want to hear your opinion.
Okay. Okay. It's because
There's only one right answer, by the way.
Okay, it's because everyone, because like all of my Singaporean friends just hype up like, oh my god, McSpicy, you have to try McSpicy in Singapore. McSpicy, blah blah blah. It's so nice. Over here, it's so shit and everything. I'm just like, okay, because I haven't tasted Singapore McSpicy in like 12 years, you know. So I was just like, it's just a chicken burger. It's a spicy chicken burger. It's nothing big. I don't know what you guys are talking about. And then okay, I went back. Okay, so I remember eating one just before I leave Melbourne, and then eating one when I land like in Singapore. So I still have the taste in my mind, you know.
Oh, you tried the Australian McSpicy version.
Australian, then Singapore.
Okay.
I was just damn okay. I feel like over here the McSpicy is more catered to like the Australians.
Yeah.
No one can take the spicy here. Over there, it's like, okay, it's because I can take my spice well. It wasn't as spicy, but it was like spicier than the Australian burger.
Yeah, but the point is, which one tastes better?
Not
It's
really-
not even a question, bro.
I'm not really a fan of chicken burgers, you guys,
for
but
fuck's sake. No, but like, okay, let's
I'll
talk about
take-
this a little bit more, right? The McSpicy over here in Australia is, first of all, chicken breast. Mm-hmm. Right? The McSpicy, in Singapore, is chicken thigh. Thigh is already like a whole different level already, bro. The fact that it's a thigh, it's different. And was it hot when it was brought out to you?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course.
McSpicy
No.
here, like, sometimes it's not even hot. It's like, it's just room temperature.
Yeah.
And then it's just dry. But at least with the McSpicy, you can see like the redness inside. You can see the oil dripping, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
It,
That's what I
it
mean.
looks more red, the Singapore McSpicy,
Exactly.
than the one in
Yeah,
Australia.
and did you have it with curry sauce at least?
Duh. I mean,
Exactly, bro.
you have to have the whole experience.
Exactly.
I'll just pick the Singapore one.
Exactly, bro.
Obviously,
It's not a
I'll pick the
question.
Singapore one because it's more spicier.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's end it off like this, guys. To any of you who are curious about Singapore's McSpicy versus Australia's McSpicy, it's not even a question. All right. Just go to Singapore. Before you fly to Singapore for holidays or go back home, just eat the Australian one and then go back home and compare the difference, bro. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Good luck, man. If you can't take your spice well, good luck.
Oh yeah. If you can't take spice well, then yeah, it is pretty spicy. But if you're decent with spicy food, then it should be really good. Yeah. That's it for today's podcast. Thank you for being here on my, I don't know how many episodes, but being a guest on the podcast. We'll see
you.
if I invite you again down the line. There's definitely a lot more questions I think we can answer about maybe uni stuff or like just life in general. Because this is a, I guess, uni podcast for now. But we're gonna just transition to life stuff and cultural differences and stuff. But yeah, I hope you guys like this episode. If you guys have any questions, leave it down in the comment section down below and leave me an email if you have any more like topics that you want me to talk about. Don't forget to subscribe and follow on the Spotify channels and YouTube. And we'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace out.
Bye.
Nice. Good job.
Thanks, man.